Is Amonkhet the best MTG limited format ever? What do you think? Welcome in, much love, Trap here. The sun just came out in Humboldt. Nice. Got some tournaments, Vegas, Kyoto. Oh boy, I'm very excited. I'm gonna take you along with me, yeah. Today doing something a little bit different. Instead of ranting about everything that Wizards is doing wrong, let's reward them for Amonkhet and talk about how this set is good and why it could be better. I've heard a lot of pros and various players say, like, yo, this is the best limited set, and something I've noticed is tons of people drafting a lot and doing a lot of seals. I've been enjoying it. With Kaladesh and Aether Revolt, you didn't really see that. Following pros on Twitter and Facebook, doing a ton of drafts. No, that wasn't happening. So there's something special about Amonkhet that makes it good, or at least better for limited. And we're going to go through that today. I'm going to give you my opinions, how Wizards can repeat this, how they can make it even better. So, I think the first thing that makes Amonkhet better is the variance fixing. So, and this, everyone likes this. No one likes to get mana screwed. No one likes to get mana flooded. I get that. Yeah, okay, well, mana screw, mana flood gives the worst player a chance to win, and then they're hooked on it. Yeah, whatever. No one's really that excited to win that way. Random elements are great for the game, but mana screw, mana flood should be minimized, right? And Amonkhet has done a decent job of doing that. With cycling, for one. Cycling sets, people like cycling. The cards don't look amazing, but it plays out really nice where you just have fewer games where you get horribly mana screwed. So a lot of sets do not have that. A lot of sets do not have anything to stop that. And so the game's incidence of mana screw is like half in this format from normal, just because of cycling. If I could pick, I would put cycling in every limited set. Me personally, I think that is the #1 thing that makes the biggest difference. You go back to Onslaught and so on, and there were some problems with that, but cycling was great there. Second thing is mana sinks. People don't want to flood out either, so it's important to have some things to do with when you draw a bunch of mana. And Embalm is a decent fix for that. I think they could do more here. They used to have a lot more mana sinks, like invokers, random creatures with all these expensive abilities. And personally, I like that. I kind of miss it. I guess I don't really get why they moved away from that. I'm not sure why. We haven't gotten back to it, so that's one problem, is flooding can be really bad in this set. But it's not, Embalm at least helps compared to Kaladesh, because one thing is, I think Amonkhet's great. I actually did better with Kaladesh competitively, but I didn't like Kaladesh. So it's not just me, oh, I'm doing great at Amonkhet draft. I'm doing well. I did better with Kaladesh. I didn't like Kaladesh. Kaladesh had very little mana sinks, a few. But we have all this Embalm stuff at common, so at least if you get flooded, you can spend 7 mana to bring back your Aven Initiate, 5 mana to bring back your Unwavering Initiate. That's cool. So, for starters, what I like about Amonkhet is there's things that reduce mana screw and things that reduce mana flood. That's a big deal. Moving on a little bit. So, another specific mechanic, Exert. I like Exert a lot. It's skillful. It's not super imbalanced. It just plays out great. The way it just plays out great. It's not like Vehicles where Renegade Freighter is just overpowered. You have some big stuff, but not untapping the next turn is a pretty big drawback. So, Exert also is an option that comes up a lot that is going to reward better player. I think people like to think that skill will be rewarded, and Amonkhet does a good job of that. So the mechanics are good. Okay. Another thing, we got this, check out helicopter, chopper. Get to the chopper, get down! Shout out to my guy Arnold. Another thing that makes Amonkhet great is all the cards are playable, pretty much. The most unplayables are rares, actually. But there's so many, you can use everything, you know, all the cartouches. Obviously, the Slither Blade is a thing. Everything's good sideboard card, Blazing Volley, Trespasser's Curse. The worst cards still have cycling, so you'll use them in cycling heavy decks and stuff like that. So that's awesome, as Wizards found a way to make, well, that way it's fun because you'll always have a decent deck. So you can draft a better deck than your opponents, but you're not going to get train wrecked very much because it seems like all the cards are pretty much playable. Some of them are more sideboard cards. In the past, Wizards used to print like fucking terrible a lot of terrible cards as skill testers, but they don't really do that anymore. They found a way to make everything situationally good, if not main deck playable, so I think that's cool. Okay, another reason that Amonkhet is good, and Innistrad was like this, is they have 10 archetypes, which all feel pretty distinct and are fairly balanced. Now, red-white is a lot better than blue-green, but it's not that unbalanced, and it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. It's usually going to be imbalanced. There's like a best color and a worst color. Maybe blues, sirens, no. Maybe blues situational stuff is a little bit too situational, and red-white's aggressive stuff is a little, you know, it's not that unbalanced though, but blue-green can still be good. It feels distinct from red-white. Blue-black has a unique identity. Blue-red has a unique identity, feels different from blue-black. Red-black feels different. Red-green feels different. Green-black feels different. Green-white feels different. White-black feels unique, you know. I like when they will have 10 color pair archetypes, and Innistrad was good about this because there's 8 players in a draft, so you're going to have 10 of these, and there's no way that people are going to be in 2 of them, and some of them are repeats. So you have a lot of strong decks, and you have these good gold cards coming around late and stuff like that. I just think that's cool, that it feels fresh because you can force the same archetype, or you could do a different archetype, basic archetype for 10 straight times, just of a different color pair. And not every set is good about this and creating kind of an identity of the color pairs. I think just having the gold uncommon and a few gold rares help to bring out that identity. Again, they could have done better. I think certain color pairs are a little overpowered, but it's not so bad. There's other ones that are a lot stronger. Another thing that I like, let's talk about the rares a little bit. The rares, for the most part, are not that good. They're costed appropriately, like they're very good. Angel of Sanctions, Glorybringer, Glyphkeeper, Archfiend are all pretty fucking good. But they're also, aside from Glyphkeeper, even Glyphkeeper trades with Thresher Lizard. You can kill them with a Electrify or a Final Reward. You can Edifice of Authority. You can deal with this stuff with common stuff. And the more broken Sandworm conversions type effects cost 1 million mana, so aren't that good. It's not, some of the rares, like, it's not so bad. If anything, it's too random. There's too many rares that are like Dispossess or a Cycle Land that are not good enough. The rares are kind of weak, and I think that makes it good, where it's really not about the rares. And since aggro is so good, I don't think it's a problem for aggro to be so good. It lowers the value of rares because you can win before they matter. So I think that's good. One of the things that Amonkhet is lacking that makes it better, let's talk about things that it doesn't have. Stupid 2-mana snowball effects. For instance, there's no card like Long Tusk Cub where it comes down and you miss your turn 2 play and you just lose because it snowballs out of control. Even Thriving Grubs, Thriving Rats, Thriving Rhino have this sort of effect where if you fall behind, you fall further and further behind. Innistrad had this with werewolves. Like, if I play a 2-drop werewolf and you have nothing, my werewolf flips. It's a Mayor of Averbrook. You're going to fucking lose. You just lost on turn 2, turn 3. Amonkhet doesn't really have that. The exert creatures don't get much better if you miss your play, right? I'm not snowballing. So even if you miss your land drop, it's not like you're gonna lose right then. You can cycle, miss your land drop, and come back. It's possible. It's not necessarily likely, but there are very few games where it's like, it's turn 2 and I fucking lost because of this snowball bullshit. Amonkhet doesn't really have that. Amonkhet doesn't really have too many broken ass rares. So those are the things I like about it. Less screw, less flood, no snowballing, good combat mechanics. The rares aren't too overpowered and are usually answerable. There's 10 distinct 2-color archetypes, and you can go multicolor, and they're not super unbalanced, a little bit unbalanced, but not a lot. And overall, it makes a great format. It's hard for me to say which one is better, really. Oh, and everything is almost playable, so you can build decks out of stuff that's tabling. Everything's in context. There's build around stuff that you can do, like weird aggro decks. I think it's great. Again, I'd like to see some more. They did a decent job with mana sinks. I'd like to see more mana sinks. Balance is fine. I'm not going to hold it against them. Some of the rares, I know they print them for constructed, but it sucks how bad some of them are. But other than that, yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to say it's the best, but it's up there for me. It's definitely in the tops. So, good job by Wizards on this. I hope they make more sets like this, and I hope that you have a great fucking day. I'm curious what you think. Is Amonkhet the best limited format ever? And if not, what would you put ahead of it? I really liked Innistrad, but I prefer Amonkhet. To me, Amonkhet's my favorite. Not necessarily my favorite, but I think it's objectively the best, perhaps. Wizards has learned from their mistakes a lot. Yeah, I think it's a great set. So keep doing it. Keep up the good work, Wizards. Thank you. And let's point out the good stuff sometimes. So much love, and see you in the comments.